The Knicks offense is led by Jalen Brunson and Karl-Anthony Towns. That's to be expected. But if one of them is being targeted or they're struggling, we're going to need other players on this team to step up. One of those players is Mikal Bridges, especially on offense. He is limited and needs the ball in his hands more. But recently, we found out the ridiculous reason why Mikal Bridges plays off ball more for the Knicks. We're going to break down all of these latest reports today. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button and make sure you have notifications turned on. So that way, anytime we drop new content, you get notified. And now, let's get started. The Knicks confirm why Mikal Bridges is limited on offense. Against the top teams in the league, it's as if the Knicks disappear. Jalen Brunson and Karl-Anthony Towns normally show up, but rarely do they get any help. We need Mikal Bridges to be one of the players in those moments to step up and help this Knicks team. We saw on Christmas Day, he is capable if given the opportunity. But recently, we learned why the Knicks do not utilize Mikal Bridges in those situations more often. Shout out to Ian Bagley of SNY for answering the following question. He was asked on a recent edition of his mailbag, why is Mikal off ball so often on offense? Is that by design? Seems like he had more shot creation ability in Brooklyn. Brunson could use some perimeter relief at times. Here was Bagley's response to this question. I assume it is by design. I think the Knicks have established a hierarchy where things generally go through Jalen Brunson and Karl-Anthony Towns, and Mikal Bridges, OG Anunoby, and Josh Hart play off of those two. Bridges definitely had more opportunity as a primary ball handler in Brooklyn. His usage this season is down 20% from last season. Usage is an advanced stat that measures the percentage of plays that ends with a specific player taking a shot, shooting free throws, or turning the ball over. Bagley continues here by stating, Tom Thibodeau has talked often about Josh Hart as New York's secondary ball handler. It seems like the Knicks value Hart in that role. Hart has been incredibly effective as a distributor, rebounder, and in transition this season, he has been very capable. So it's hard to argue with the Knicks' logic on Hart as a secondary ball handler. But that's probably why you haven't seen Bridges create as often off the dribble this season compared to past seasons in Brooklyn. Absolutely ridiculous. Just because you prefer to play Josh Hart, that's why Mikal Bridges doesn't see any time on ball or rarely any time on ball. That doesn't make any sense because there's a simple solution to all of this. A solution that I've been saying for months now. Sub Mikal Bridges out in the first quarter early. And then to start the second quarter and the fourth quarter, play Mikal Bridges with the bench unit. One starter being Mikal Bridges, 4 bench players. If you do that, Mikal becomes the primary ball handler of the second unit. That means he gets more opportunities and he becomes more aggressive. He's able to run the offense like what he did in Brooklyn. And when he was doing it in Brooklyn, he looked phenomenal. He was thriving. He was excelling. Why would we rob ourselves of that Mikal Bridges by not giving him the opportunity to shine like that? It's so easy to do as well, too. It's basically what the Knicks did last year with R.J. Barrett. You basically put Mikal Bridges in the R.J. Barrett role. And guess what's going to happen if you do that? He will thrive because he's not going to have Jalen on the floor with him, Karl on the floor with him, Josh Hart or OG on the floor with him. It's going to be him as the alpha among all the players on the floor. He needs that. He needs that feeling. He needs to be able to remember what it feels like to be that type of player. Because newsflash, we traded for that Mikal Bridges. We need him back. And the only way to get him back is to give him more opportunities to be the same Mikal Bridges he was when he was with Brooklyn. We saw him unlock another part of himself with Brooklyn, a piece of himself that he's never shown in any other place that he played. The Knicks would be smart to utilize that type of Mikal Bridges with this team. We've said it a number of times. We need more offense. We need more threats on offense. Mikal Bridges can be that player if you allow him to be that player by putting him in situations for him to be that player. Run him with the bench and watch the Mikal Bridges you get after running him that way. I understand it completely. You don't want to stop Josh Hart from being your secondary ball handler. Fine. I'm okay with that. Keep it that way. Does that mean Mikal Bridges doesn't have to see any time on ball? He cannot be the ball handler at any time, any possession, any situation? I don't believe that's the case. And it's an easy way to fix it. Like I just said, play him with the bench unit and watch that magic happen. We saw it maybe 1 or 2 times this season. I can't remember the exact game. I do remember one of the games, Karl-Anthony Towns was out. And that was key because normally Towns runs with the bench unit in the second quarter, but he wasn't available during that quarter. So what happened? They played Mikal Bridges with, I believe, 3 or 4 bench pieces. If it wasn't 4, it was 3 and Josh Hart. But either way, that was a lineup that Mikal felt like he was the alpha in. And because of that, he was running the offense. You saw him dictating things on the floor. He's still capable. He still has that in him. We just need to give him a reason to push it out, to bring it out, to allow us all to see the greatness. And if we get that, Mikal, we'll be a better team because of it. That's another way to improve this roster. Look at who you have and realize, are you utilizing them the proper way, or should you be utilizing them a little bit better? You can make the argument for OG Anunoby. You can make the argument for Mikal Bridges. You can make the argument for Ariel Hukporti, Tyler Kolek. I could go on and on. But the point being here is you do not need to have only 2 primary ball handlers on this team. If you like Jalen and Josh, cool. Expand it by having somebody else be the primary ball handler off the bench. Who is the second unit's primary ball handler? Honestly, it's not established. We really don't have one. Another reason to give that role to Mikal Bridges. And I'm not saying bench Mikal. I'm not saying take him out of the starting unit. Keep the starters the exact same way. Just do what you did last year. Make the early substitution. Put Miles McBride earlier in the lineup and put Mikal Bridges on the bench earlier and then have him run with the second unit. I promise you, if you do that, good things will happen. What else can we lose here? Clearly against the top teams, we're 0-7. So we need to do something else, something different, make a change. This change isn't even that hard to do, and it's something we used to do last year that worked. It worked. Why not go back to something that can work, that can help us, that can make us more dangerous? This is what Tom Thibodeau needs to do, needs to change, and needs to adjust. Tom Thibodeau, this is the change that we need to make. This makes us a better team. But what about you guys? What do you think about the Knicks providing this information that the main reason Mikal plays off ball for this team is because they trust Josh Hart as the secondary ball handler? Let me know how you feel about that in the comment section below, guys, because honestly, I would love to hear from you. But that's going to do it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, go ahead and smash that like button, leave a comment below. And of course, guys, please subscribe to the channel. Until next time, Knicks fans, take care of yourself, your families, and each other. Peace and love.